So I'm back at it. Today we're going to be doing like a history of makeup slash get ready with me, just because I thought it might be fun. I don't know if the lighting's great because I'm filming this in the morning because I'm not at work. It's a bank holiday. I'm going out this afternoon to go and sit in a park. So I thought, why not do this? We have got a different angle today, new angle unlocked, because I have all my props. So I thought I'd do it on my actual desk, like on the long way, whereas normally we're facing the door. So we'll just get straight into it. So I've already washed, cleansed, moisturised, and we'll go straight in with some primer. Let me just get situated. The first thing we're going to go in with is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Not like anyone cares. But yeah, so I thought we'd do a little bit of background on each piece of makeup that I use. So let's apply this. Imagine going on the internet with like fully like no makeup on. So personally, I really enjoy doing my makeup. I like watching all the beauty YouTubers and stuff. I like the makeup artists on TikTok as well. So I thought that it'd be fun today to have a little look at the background of it all. So we'll start with moisturisers and like powders, like your base layer. So in 1933, Radia, which was a Paris-based beauty company, released a new range of, I think it was like a moisturiser type product. It does say powder. This is like cream powder, so I'm not sure what that would actually mean. But it was a product which was used with the intention of giving you like a natural glow. It actually had a radioactive component in it, which was radium bromide. And I read that at Boots you could actually get a tonic, like a sort of like Barocca type tablet that you drop in water, and it was a product by Sparklets called Spa Radium Bulbs, and you drop it in and just drink it and it would give you like an internal natural glow. It's like, well yeah, obviously because you're using radium bromide, but
still a stupid. It's such a fine line between stupid and clever. Yeah.
So we'll go in with some foundation. No, I'll continue talking about this thing first.
I totally forgot my lines.
Scientists were fearful of the negative effects of the urban lifestyle, so people were moving indoors to do their work and they weren't really exposed to sunshine anymore. So they advertised Radia as sunshine in a bottle, and it was very popular. The death of Marie Curie on the 4th of July 1934 started to raise concerns about exposure to radiation and radiation poisoning. By 1937, the French government placed lots of restrictions on what could be included in beauty products, and they didn't allow radioactive substances to continue to be sold. But Radia continued until the 60s. I think they just removed the actual radioactive component, but they were still quite a successful brand. So what we'll do now, we'll go on to foundation. So because I am a slave to capitalism, I was looking on TikTok and it was like the Kat Von D Good Apple thing was everywhere. I did not get the right shade. I mean, it's like, it's not a million miles off, but it's a little bit too tanned. It's light, I got light 15. Probably should got light, I think it's light 12 was the next one down. That probably would have been a better match. But what can you do? I bought it now. Louis Spence. What are they gonna do? Shoot me? I'm like a whip it.
What are they gonna do? What's gonna happen? Gonna shoot me? I doubt it. They have to catch me first. I'm like a whippet.
I'm not supposed to use very much of this. So I'm gonna look at my little, I've got my mirror over here. That is so not my shade. Oh well. So I'll just blend this in a little bit and then I will give you a little bit of history of foundation. I think the history of foundation is quite interesting. So poorer people would work outside in the sun, and as such they'd be more tanned, and higher classes, more like upper classes of people, wouldn't be working outside, so they would be naturally more pale. They wouldn't have to go out to work in the field to create an income for themselves. So in order to emulate the appearance of the skin of the upper classes, people would try to cover their face in like white substances, and I'm sure everyone's heard of the sort of things they'd use, things like chalk and white lead and all sorts of bad things for your skin. I've put on way too much of this. The preference for paler makeup and like particularly white faces was a preference that originated in Greece and Rome. The best known person for pale, like a pale complexion, like painting their face white, was Elizabeth I, who would use like a thick chalk type substance to cover her smallpox scars, but the lead chalk sort of substance she would use actually caused her teeth and hair to fall out, so far from ideal as a foundation combination. And then when Technicolor film was being produced in the 1930s, there was a demand for higher quality foundations to be produced. They were previously using a sort of grease paint is what they called it, which they would just like paint on their faces, but it wasn't coming up as a high quality on film. And then Max Factor, who we still would know of today, like, you know, like the Max Factor range, you get like boots and stuff. He created Pan-Cake, like pancake, which was a loose powder foundation, and that was the birth of the modern foundation. And I got one of these new little sponges. It's so cute. I got 3 of them. Okay, let me show you. It's so tiny. Well, that one is. The other 2 aren't. This one's actually quite big. I might use this one just to blend it out a tiny bit. I'm just gonna wet it 1 second. I don't think I've got any Max Factor products, really. We'll now go in with some concealer. I have a lot of concealers because I have a lot to conceal. So I just got last week the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. Radiant Creamy Concealer. Got there in the end. So we'll just go in with a little bit of this. So in 1928, Lydia O'Leary created the first known concealer. It was created by her as she had a birthmark on her face. I think it's called a port wine stain. People had like the little red marks on their cheeks. So she had one of those, and she created this thick sort of cream that you could use to cover it. So she created that because she was being denied opportunities for work due to her birthmark. I don't normally put this much on, but today we are, and no one can stop us. Begin with a little, let's just blend this in and I'll be right back. I was going to say as well that obviously concealer being created with the name concealer was only late 1920s, early 1930s with Lydia O'Leary, but clearly there was a preference to cover up scarrings and markings from, well, at least from Elizabeth I, is with her trying to cover her smallpox scars. So while it wasn't called concealer, products were created with the intention of concealing. And we're going to go in with some setting powder. The one I'm going to use is the Laura Mercier Loose little tiny one. And press that into the skin. I've tried baking with it before, like, you know, when you put loads of it on and just leave it to sit, but it looks proper weird with me. It makes it go, I just spilled it all over me. It just doesn't really sit very well. I didn't really have a history of setting powder, to be honest. It's the same sort of thing as the foundation powder bit at the beginning. I'm just gonna quickly do my eyebrows. There's not much history on like eyebrow styles really that I could find. You can see it's quite thin eyebrows, so quite a fashionable trend until, well, recently. Like soap brows have become more of a thing, haven't they? Off the top of my head, poignant eyebrow shapes that I can think of, you know, the thin like pencil line. Edith Piaf, that was it. I'm just gonna fill them in a tiny bit. I've got a pen from Estee Lauder, which is a Featherlight brow enhancer. Basically got the same thing again from Glossier. So I do this one for the little ones at the beginning, this one's for the thick bits, and Control Freak to get them spiky. Be right back. See, the thing is, I wish I was good at my eyebrows, but I'm just not. I've literally just coloured it in like a child.
One thing worse than a rapist, boom, a child. No.
Quick update. I accidentally put the eyeliner instead of the eyebrow flick, so can you be arsed? I was thinking while doing it, wow, this liquid looks a lot thicker than normal, like a lot darker. Oh, for God's sake. Not even, but they're even enough. So we're gonna move on. Oh my God, life is too short. Come on, slugs. Now we're gonna go on to a fun bit. We're gonna go into the eyeshadow. We have lots of choices. I'm gonna use the Nude Medium by Huda Beauty. Eyeshadow was first used in ancient Egypt. It was apparently used to accentuate the eyes of royalty. And in Egyptian culture, kohl was used to emulate the appearances of the gods. And this trend then spread to Rome and to Greece, where women began to use eyeshadow for the sake of beauty rather than for religious reasons. Blending it out because I use too much. Just because I enjoy doing it doesn't mean I'm good at it. It later then spread to India and Babylon, where rich women would wear it because of the price of it. And one time here, I mean, it's quite recent. A lot of this like history of makeup, I know it's quite recent history. It's not really a history, it's more just facts about what I find interesting as usual. But the 80s especially, like 60s, 70s, 80s, like massive time for kind of creativity with makeup looks. And I'm going to put a little bit of like shadowy, shimmery stuff on the middle. I'll leave that. We will now then go on to eyeliner. So back to ancient Egypt, where all of the trends started. They would use, again, kohl as like eyeliner or as eyeshadow. But it's believed that it wasn't just for honouring deities, it was also due to its antibacterial elements. It was like a protection for the eyes. And also some people say it was to reduce the sun's glare in people's eyes as well. Obviously they didn't have like coverings for their eyes, they would use eyeliner. I'm just gonna quickly do this because I don't think I can do it while talking. I don't have that skill. We're back. I mean, again, it's not even, but it's even enough, and we're taking that as a win. So Maiko, the apprentice geishas of Western Japan, would also use eyeliner. They outlined their eyes using charcoal in the mid-18th century. And also Native American Pawnee and Osage people often used like red face paint around their eyes for spiritual reasons. A few people who had very interesting eyeliner shapes in modern history, like in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Two people I was thinking of was Twiggy and Bridget Bardot. They had quite big eyes and they had quite interesting styles around their eyes. I think next on to my favourite bit, mascara. Got these, I've got enough. So I like the Stila one. That's one I use like every day. And then I've got Fenty as well. My sister doesn't like it, but I like it. But I just got the Glossier one, so I'm going to try it. We'll see if it compares to my Stila one. So although Egyptians were the first people again to use mascara or kind of like coverings for their eyelashes, it wasn't until the Victorian era and specifically in the 1830s that the practice of deepening and kind of enriching the colour of lashes really came to popularity, or like within Western cultures. So what they'd do, they'd mix ash with elderberry over a hot fire, and that is how they create their own mascara. I'm going to quickly... I'll be right back. Interestingly, for Victorians, Queen Victoria hated makeup and said it was vulgar and was only used by prostitutes, so she says. So Victorian women would still want to look their best, but they weren't allowed to use makeup, so they would just make their own. There was no branded makeup being sold, it was just that you would make your own concoctions at home. They did have some face creams and things like that. And they would do things like take hot baths to get like flushed cheeks. They would go for brisk walks and have a good night's sleep and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great if you can, but at a time of enormous poverty, I'm not sure how many people were getting their 8 hours. So in 1917, Eugene Rimmel, as we might know Rimmel the brand, created its first range of mascaras. It was produced from a blend of petroleum and black coal dust, like Vaseline. But the desire to lengthen and thicken lashes actually occurred in like the Roman period. An author called Pliny the Elder stated that people that had too much sex, their eyelashes would fall out. So people wanted to look chaste and pure, and so they wanted long, thick eyelashes. And that is where the fake eyelashes, like false kind of bands of eyelashes, started developing from. It said in the Times in 1921, a columnist wrote, "When a fair young thing looks at you mistily through her long curling lashes, do not fall for it until you investigate. The long curling eyelashes may not be hers except by right of purchase." I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna do one more layer of my Stila. Fabulous. So we're now gonna go on to blush. I normally have a milk makeup like stick one that I use, but I can't find it anywhere. I've got these little free sample ones from Glossier, 2 different ones, and I've got my Battered Old Makeup Academy one, which is quite a nice colour actually. I might just use this one. Try the test that, and if it's awful or isn't very bright or there's not very much, because like look, there is a sample size and then there is this. So it's their cloud paint test, so let's give it a try. Very, very red. Pop it on my fingers. Okay, there's more of it than I thought actually. That's something a bit like that. Maybe do I put a little bit on the end of my nose? I think I hate it. I'm not loving that. Anyway, in ancient Egypt, brown red ochre was mixed with fat to create a red paste that people would smear on their lips and their cheeks to give them a natural glow. Yeah, no, I don't like it. Not for me. And so in ancient Egypt, both men and women would both wear blush. Oh, that's much nicer. I like that. I don't know what's weird with the voices today. So the Middle Ages saw a drop in the use of cosmetics. People weren't really using as much makeup anymore, as there was an association with prostitutes wearing makeup, and people liked looking quite pale, and especially during like Elizabeth I's era, people liked having like big foreheads, big like eggheads. I don't know if you've seen Margot Robbie, who when she plays Elizabeth I, it's terrifying.
Always loved and admired.
But that was the style. So, but people would actually bleed themselves apparently to get that gaunt, pale complexion, whereas it's kind of the opposite of now. Everyone wants to look tanned and healthy, and that was kind of brought in by Coco Chanel with like big dark eyes and red lips and a tan. So she kind of popularised it. And in the 1700s in France, both men and women wear blush. A lot of paintings you'll see have the big wigs and they'd have like really rosy cheeks. Makeup's for men too. We're progressive over here, guys. So I'm not personally really into very much lipstick. I don't like how it feels. So what I would do, I'm going to put a little bit of ink crayon as a little like sweep of colour. I'm just going to put it as like an outline, then rub it in. Whose idea was this? And then we go in with our Fenty Beauty. Yeah, that's basically the lips done. I meant to say about the lips, this is supposed to be a history video. They would just do the same sort of thing as they would for blush really, in terms of using like berries and stains. It wasn't really popular to have like bright lips, especially until everything kind of Coco Chanel, like the bright red lips, because it was again associated prostitution. And so that's it really. That was just get ready with me. Yeah, so I'm off to go to London Fields. Excited to get out of the house now that we're allowed. And that was it. So thank you for joining me and I'll see you soon. Bye.